Hey there, I'm PK and if you don't know me, I'm a guy who does a lot of trivia stuff, primarily about Smash Ultimate, and I recently got done looking over every single item that the game has to offer. But when I talked about the assist trophy in the Pokeballs, I just focused on the item itself and none of their contents. That's because I was saving it for this mini-series, where I look at each assist individually and talk about things ranging from basic mechanics, niche trivia, or anything else I could think of really. There's a lot that we can learn about these characters, even by just giving them a basic look through, as normally whether or not they even spawn in the first place is completely random, and you could go dozens of matches without seeing a specific kind of assist. So today we're starting with assist trophies before we get into Pokeballs, and today's video starts us off at the top with Hammer Bro, and then has us go to Klaptrap. I know that's not very many, but trust me, this video just goes over so many basic mechanics that affect most or all of the assists, so future videos will be much more efficient, I promise. But before we talk about any assist trophies, I want to briefly mention today's video sponsor, Zen Market. Zen Market is a proxy shopping service that lets you buy and ship goods directly from Japanese sites, even without having an address in Japan or knowing the language. The former of which being the main factor for me, as even though I speak Japanese, I still just live in America. All you do is search up an item, with access from over 10,000 Japanese stores, to see its availability. Then you simply pay for it, accounting for Zen Market's 500 yen fee per item. Then when it's arrived at Zen Market, you'll simply create a parcel that they'll send to you. And Zen Market has a 60-day free storage period, meaning you can purchase a variety of items to consolidate into one parcel, saving you on extra shipping fees. With 19 language options available, over 2 million users worldwide, and allowing a large variety of shipping and payment methods, this is a great way to get your Japanese goodies wherever you are in the world. And if you sign up using my promo code PKBeats, you'll get a free 1,000 Zen points as a sign-up bonus, the equivalent of 1,000 yen off international shipping fees. Just click the link in the description, get those 1,000 points, and have fun shopping. And thank you, Zen Market, for sponsoring today's video. The Hammer Bro is an enemy found in the Mario series. Okay, I'm sorry, I just wanted to be more consistent about explaining origins coming into these videos, but the first set of assists are from the more popular series, so whatever. As he loves to do, the Hammer Bro will throw a bunch of hammers in an arc in front of him. Each hammer will do exactly 9% damage, no matter where or when you get hit. And while the KO potential isn't exactly crazy, it can still take stocks at around like 130% or so. By the way, I figure I'll get comments, so let me clarify that this damage is, as usual, without the 1v1 multiplier. So if you see higher numbers in my footage, that's because that's with the 1v1 multiplier, which boosted by 1.2 times, something that items can only experience in training mode, as otherwise them being present turns this multiplier off. If you want more details, watch my item trivia supercut, I recommend it. The Hammer Bro himself seems to have a few throwing patterns. Usually he'll just throw 1 or 2 hammers consecutively before pausing, with 2 hammers per burst being the most common. However, he'll also occasionally have a spurt where he throws anywhere between 3 hammers and even up to 9 or 10 in a row without a pause. And he'll occasionally toss in some hops here or there, either being empty hops or ones that accompany the hammer throw. And he'll even do a super bounce sometimes, even if Mario is all the way over here and not threatening him in any way. Though I did find that this big bounce happened a bit more when I played closer to the Hammer Bro, so it's probably meant to be some kind of defensive maneuver. Plus the hammers themselves will either bounce along the ground, getting a bit of extra distance, or just fall through the stage. Though they keep their hitbox all the way down here for a while. Out of curiosity, I counted 100 hammers, and 40 of them passed through while 60 bounced along the ground. Do with that what you will. For Hammer Bro specific details, that's about what I can give you, but there's a lot of general assist trophy stuff that are very relevant for this character. So, much like how I spent a long time talking about the Smash Ball in the item series, let me dig real deep for this guy too. The Hammer Bro is one of many assists that can be attacked and KO'd. For him, this includes grabbing and throwing as well. If you deal enough damage, they'll enter this glowing state where, if you use an attack that deals enough knockback, they'll be murdered horribly. So they do have an HP threshold, and for Hammer Bro specifically, it's at 25 HP. There's a full chart here on the wiki that I'll be referring to for every assist going forward, but rather than just dying when the HP runs out, it's just what determines when they enter this glowing phase. Now, whether or not you can bypass this glowing state and get a one-hit KO seems kind of finicky. For example, a home run bat swing on its own doesn't seal the deal, however a lone Dragoon hit will be enough. So just keep that caveat in mind. Also, I thought it was funny how the Hammer Bro would turn around to face your reticle, which is kind of a neat detail. Anyways, outside of all that, if you keep using weak moves even after they've entered this 0 HP state, they still will not die. So the finisher needs to have enough knockback. And yeah, assists are capable of air dodging if you didn't know. By the way, normally you can't hurt your own assist because that would be kinda rude, but if they enter this 0 HP stage, now even the person who spawned them in can get the KO. This is because destroying an assist actually nets the attacker a point, so it gives the user an opportunity to steal that point for themselves instead. Combining all of these factors lets us do this. Yeah, I was using this footage before and the Hammer Bro wasn't despawning. Normally he's got a universal timer of about 15 seconds or so, but he just wasn't going away here. I've covered this glitch on the channel before, but I might as well go over it again. Basically, if you grab an assist during this slowdown period where they get KO'd, you'll stop them from taking knockback, thus saving their life. And in this stage, their normal timer goes away, or perhaps just gets put into the negatives, so either way they just won't despawn. And they develop a type of armor to where, if an attack wasn't strong enough to KO them before, then it won't make them flinch at all. Though in doing this, we can see that the assists actually do accumulate percent like any normal players, as eventually the forward tilt here will deal enough knockback to properly KO. So that's pretty interesting. Also no, this doesn't let you spawn in a bunch of Hammer Bros or other assists because there's still limitations on top of the timer to prevent that, primarily being no duplicates allowed and only 2 assists can be spawned in at once maximum. But it's still helpful for the purposes of my videos, and that's all that matters. It's not like you're gonna use this glitch yourself, you just wanted something to tickle your brain while you ate your meal. Oh, but I'm still not done. This one's sourced directly from the wiki, but the Hammer Bro apparently has the lowest spawn rate out of any assist, paired with Starfy. This is effectively 1.15%. Yeah, I honestly didn't know this either, but I guess rather than having each assist have an equal chance at spawning, some are weighted differently than others in a real setting. I would have expected trophies like Mother Brain or Rathalos to be the least common, but Hammer Bro and Starfy apparently, yeah. That's just insane to me, but sure. By the way, this 2086 number is just sort of the weight for them all, with each character having a certain numerator to determine the likelihood. By default, this is the highest at 38, which is the number for the vast majority of potential assists. There's only so many numbers out there, with the lowest being at 24, which again is for Hammer Bros or Starfy. So we can sort of organize the rarity into these 4 categories. Just to keep it fresh on our mind, I'll start each assist segment with their rarity being either common, uncommon, rare, or ultra rare, among their other details. You can let me know if that type of categorization doesn't really make sense, since in reality these probabilities differ just by decimals of a percent value, so this isn't really ultra rare, but it's still kinda neat to know how it works. And also keep in mind that these rarities also need to be paired with the fact that there's a lot of stages that just aren't compatible with some assists, so you won't be getting a completely even probability spread throughout the game. If you're curious, Mute City SNES here is the only stage where Hammer Bro can't spawn. I mean, like, god, look at how low this list is now. I guess this stage just kinda sucks for assist trophies. So even though Hammer Bro has a lower spawn rate, given how he's able to be present on more stages than some other assists, it can kinda balance out like that too. Yeah, this section was just as much about the Hammer Bro as it was about all assist trophies, but I figure it gives you some good fundamentals to understand this item as a whole. But with that, I think it's about time we finally move on to our next character. The Chain Chomp is another Mario series enemy and cannot be spawned on these stages, having an uncommon spawn rate and having a total of 30 HP. Yeah, it has HP and can be KO'd, though it cannot be grabbed. It has 2 attacks, a basic hitbox that surrounds its body and deals 6% but no knockback, and a lunge attack that deals 20% and has some pretty respectable KO power. And you can't shield any of these hits, so it's a little scary. It does its lunge attack every 3 or so seconds, and it seems to have some form of player detection, where which half of its radius it'll attack is based on who's where. This detection seems to be basically infinite range, though you can tell there's a slight pause in its lunge pattern for the time that Mario is dead and respawning. Now, while it can detect players, it certainly doesn't home in on them. It seems to have 3 or 4 patterns, either a horizontal lunge, a really high jump, and then something somewhere in between the two. And I guess it chooses at random, as Mario is just standing here and the Chain Chomp can't seem to do anything, like a big stupid dumb idiot. Plus, it doesn't really have any lower attacks, so if it gets spawned on higher elevation, it really struggles to do anything. It could technically be put on a moving platform or something and eventually fall down, but even then, the moving platform really messes up its vibes and it can't really lunge. Poor fella. The Thwomp is a common assist trophy from
Super Mario in real life.
It has no HP because it cannot die, and can't spawn on this big list of stages. Additionally, I'll point out that there are sometimes item restrictions too, where if an item is in play, an assist trophy can't spawn in. Easiest example is Boss Galaga here. If this is present, then Thwomp, among other assists, won't be spawnable candidates from the assist trophy. Plus, if all 3 Dragoon or Daybreak parts are present in a match, even if scattered around, then that'll also heavily limit what else can spawn in. So if you keep it like this, or just hold an item, you can restrict what kinds of assists are able to spawn, either because you hate them, or to indirectly boost the odds of the other assists. I like this with Villager or Isabelle too, because you can just pocket a certain item and maintain that restriction until you die. I won't be as super thorough with these restrictions for the future, mostly just bringing up big items like the Boss Galaga, but just know that these types of restrictions are present in the first place, which even further affect the probability of certain assists spawning in. As for the Thwomp itself, its mechanics are fairly simple. It'll spawn really high up, then when it detects a player underneath, it'll slam down. The slam does a whopping 32% with great KO power, and it has a resting hitbox that deals 7% otherwise. Plus, the slam basically murders shields, though, funny enough, you can spot dodge it and stay inside the Thwomp for a bit before it just shoves you right out, potentially hitting you with its 7% weak hit. This plays into how the Thwomp is extremely difficult to run through, a property that affects the one who spawned it in too. So even though the user can't get squished, you could get pushed away. By the way, if it's left idle for around 3 seconds or so, it'll just teleport to a nearby player instead of waiting forever. This is helpful if you spawn it over an offstage area, as if it gets triggered out there, it'll plummet to its demise, but then teleport somewhere safer afterwards. Plus, the Thwomp will ignore soft platforms, those being the ones you can fall through, and it really needs this, as otherwise on certain stages it wouldn't be able to do much. Though for other stages, you'd think it'd be a lot worse, but actually, the Thwomp can spawn into some pretty tight spaces. It's not just the top of the screen, rather it's the higher point of wherever it decides to go, so that's cool. Waluigi is a rare assist trophy from some Mario sports games or something, I don't know, who has 30 HP and is unable to spawn on these stages. When he spawns in, he'll start out in a normal phase, where he's simply trying to stomp people into the ground relentlessly. Each individual assault has 6 hits, either dealing 3% or 6% per hit, depending on how close you are to Waluigi. The 6% hit seems to be the one that can bury, with the other ones just spiking. And this 6% hit can also be a launching one, which is one of the ways he can net KOs. Plus, he can meet you in the sky and pummel you up there too, which does a bit more damage. Then after about 13 or so seconds have passed, he'll absolutely lock in. All of his movements become way quicker, and for the next 6 or 7 seconds, wait, I can't say that anymore. For the next 7 or so seconds, he'll be fishing for the finishing racket hit, which deals 15 or 16% and is where almost all of the potential KO power comes in. Okay, and this section is actually super last minute, so I apologize if it feels rushed, but I need to point out how, with no 1v1 multiplier, the home run bat swing deals exactly 30%, and Waluigi has 30 HP, and yet a single bat swing doesn't bring him down to the 0 HP yellow glowing state I mentioned before. It takes a very small amount of extra damage to actually reach this, like an extra 1 or 1.5% or so, and this seemed to be the case for basically every single assist we tried. Their effective HP was always very slightly higher than what the in-game code said. I estimated Waluigi to be around 31.5%. So no, not just any amount higher than 30%, specifically a bit over 31% or so. We did a lot of testing and theorizing involving staleness and other factors, and for now our only explanation is that assists have some sort of extremely small resistance, either universally or just for the first attack they experience. It's a very small resistance too, as you can still easily get the assist into the yellow aura state in a single attack, so long as it's just a bit stronger. Effectively, this means their HP is a tiny bit higher than what you see on here, but it's close enough to the point where I'm still going to refer to what the code says, so just keep that in mind. Klaptrap is a common assist from Donkey Kong Country and etc., cannot be spawned on these stages, and has 40 HP. Yes, a Klaptrap is beefier than a chain Chomp. The upscaling in this game is crazy. Anyways, you might think it's funny how 2 of the 3 stages it can't spawn on are Donkey Kong stages, but that's just because these places already have Klaptrap on them as a stage hazard. So basically it's already on the clock and doesn't really want to have to work overtime. Though I imagine if you could spawn him in as an assist trophy on these stages, while he's present, all these stage hazards will just turn into Alfonso. Leave it to me, he says. Anyways, the way this assist attacks is by lunging forward, grabbing onto an opponent, mauling them to death before launching them. Each individual bite deals 1%, with the finisher dealing 12, adding up to 23% total. It does have potential KO power, but given the amount of time it takes for this full attack to happen, it'll rarely get you to that point on its own before it just despawns. What makes it really scary is just how long it locks you in place for the duration of the attack. So, they trap you. Get it? They clap onto you and trap you. Hello? Anyways, this is the perfect opportunity for anyone else to just waddle over and punch you in the head, which can make it practically really lethal. My favorite part of this enemy is the awesome sound it makes when you hit it. Of course, being taken directly from Donkey Kong Country. Though it's still not the best from the series, it's kinda hard to compete against. Or an unsung hero that I personally like, being... But man, this series has some amazing sound effects. I gotta use them more in my videos. Speaking of my videos, that'll be the end for today's. Again, I know we really didn't cover a lot of different assist trophies here, but I think we got a lot of pretty important basic details out of the way that'll help us strengthen our understanding of these mechanics as a whole, and make future videos a bit easier to digest. As always, if you have any trivia or fun things you know about any upcoming assist trophies or even Pokemon, let me know down in the comments. And if you don't know anything about the upcoming entries, let me know down in the comments. And if you know some things about some stuff but not others, let me know down in the comments. Also, if you... Sorry, that was stupid. Also, if you didn't know, I'm so excited for Kirby Air Riders, and when that releases, I'm going to do something with it somehow. Maybe I'll just stream and do stream highlights or something, but if I feel like there's enough stuff to cover for my usual trivia types of videos or anything else, I'm definitely gonna do that as well. But yeah, whatever, I don't even care, PK, ugh. Okay, let me just thank ZenMarket again for sponsoring today's video, and give an even bigger thank you to my gorgeous patrons Burbo, Pixelboy, Raighne, Slow700, and everyone else for their incredible support. Stay casual, and I'll see y'all later.